Listen up. Most people want success, but they don't have the mindset for it. They dream of millions. They fantasize about freedom. But when it comes time to put in the work, when the grind gets ugly, when they're exhausted, when the results don't come fast enough, they quit. That's the difference. See, the richest people in this country, they don't think like you. They don't act like you. They don't waste time making excuses. They see failure, rejection, and struggle as fuel. You see it as a reason to stop. That's why they're up there. Most people are stuck in mediocrity. They don't wake up and ask, do I feel like working today? They don't sit around waiting for motivation. They move, they execute, they push forward, even when it hurts, even when it's inconvenient, even when the whole damn world is against them. Most people say, I don't have enough time. Bullshit. You have time, you just don't want it bad enough. You're scrolling, watching TV, making excuses. The rich, they're using every second to learn, to build, to invest, to grow. Most people fear risk. The wealthy, they eat risk for breakfast. They don't wait for guarantees. They don't play it safe. They step into the unknown knowing full well they could fail. And when they do fail, they don't sit there whining about it. They adjust, they adapt, they go again. But here's the thing, nobody is born with this mindset. They built it. They conditioned themselves to think this way, to act this way, to live this way. And that means you can too. But it won't be easy. It won't be comfortable. It's going to require you to rewire your brain, to break the chains of laziness, self-doubt, and fear, to stop blaming your past, your parents, your circumstances. Nobody's coming to save you. It's on you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep thinking like the average person, or are you going to train yourself to think like the 1%? Because the moment you change how you think is the moment you change your life. Now get to work. The richest people in the USA don't rely on motivation. They don't wake up in the morning hoping they'll feel inspired. They don't sit around waiting for the perfect moment when everything feels just right. They move, they act, they execute. Whether they're tired, whether they're burned out, whether they feel like it or not, they show up and do what needs to be done. That's the difference between them and everyone else. That's what separates the top 1% from the people who never make it past average. Most people have been sold a lie about success. They think it's about passion, about excitement, about being fired up every single day. They believe if they just find the right thing that inspires them, everything will fall into place. But that's not how it works. Passion fades. Excitement comes and goes. And motivation is a joke. It's the most unreliable, inconsistent thing you could ever depend on. The second life gets hard, the second things stop being fun, motivation disappears. And when that happens, most people quit. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. They go looking for something else, hoping to find that spark again, but they never build anything lasting because they never commit when it stops feeling good. The richest people in this country understand something most never will. Motivation is for amateurs. Discipline is what gets results. You don't have to feel like working. You don't have to feel like grinding. You just have to do it. You have to train yourself to take action whether you're motivated or not. You have to get up when you don't want to. You have to push through when it sucks. You have to be relentless, not because you feel like it, but because it needs to be done. The people who win at the highest levels aren't those who work the hardest when they're motivated. They're the ones who keep going when they're not. Most people say they want success, but they only work hard when it's convenient. They give their best effort when they're excited. They show up when they're in the mood. But the second it gets difficult, the second they don't feel like it, they slow down. They take breaks, they make excuses, and then they wonder why they never get anywhere. The rich, they don't have that weakness. They don't have that softness in them. They do what has to be done, no questions asked. They've trained themselves to move, to execute, to deliver. Whether they're inspired or not, they don't need a reason. They don't need a pep talk. They don't need perfect conditions. They just get up and do the work. People talk about discipline like it's some magical skill you're either born with or not. That's garbage. Discipline is trained. It's built. It's earned. through repetition. The richest people didn't start out superhuman. They weren't naturally disciplined from day one. They just refused to be like everyone else. They made a decision to operate on a higher level. And once they made that decision, they followed through every single day until discipline became their default setting. They didn't give themselves the option to back out. They didn't let their feelings control their actions. They set a standard for themselves and refused to compromise. That's why they win. That's why they dominate. Most people never get there because they never train that muscle. They stay stuck in the cycle of waiting for motivation. And when it doesn't come, they stop. Then they wonder why their dreams never turn into reality. They wonder why success keeps slipping through their fingers. It's simple. They never learned how to push past their emotions. They never built the ability to move forward no matter what. They never mastered the skill of taking action in the absence of motivation. And until they do, they'll stay exactly where they are. The rich aren't special. They don't have some secret talent the rest of the world doesn't. They just think differently. They don't see work as optional. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They don't need to be in the mood to get things done. They operate on a different frequency, a different standard, a different mentality. And because of that, they outperform everyone around them. They don't slow down when things get uncomfortable. They don't take their foot off the gas when progress stalls. They push harder. They lean into the resistance. They do the things nobody else is willing to do, and they do them every single day, whether they feel like it or not. Most people are prisoners of their own emotions. They only work when they feel good. They only commit when it's exciting. But that's why they stay broke. That's why they stay stuck. The second things get difficult, they stop. The second the initial hype wears off, they quit. And because they never learn how to push through, they never get anywhere. The richest people in this country have freed themselves from that trap. They've conditioned their minds to move regardless of how they feel. They've trained themselves to show up no matter what. And that's why they're at the top while everyone else is stuck at the bottom. Every person on this planet has days where they don't feel like working. Every person has moments where they doubt themselves, where they question if it's worth it. But what separates the successful from the unsuccessful is what happens in those moments. Most people let those feelings control them. The rich, they override those feelings. They don't negotiate with their emotions. They don't entertain excuses. They recognize that those moments are the ones that matter most. Anybody can work when they're fired up. Anybody can put in effort when it's easy. But real success is built when you push forward without motivation. When you get up, when you grind, when you execute, even when every part of you wants to stop. That's what separates the elite from everyone else. That's why most people never reach the highest levels of success. They think success is about talent, about luck, about getting the right opportunities. But the truth is, it's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, regardless of circumstances. It's about putting in the work, even when you don't see immediate results. It's about trusting the process, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Most people can't do that. They don't have the patience. They don't have the discipline. They want instant gratification. They want results without effort. But that's not how the game works. The richest people in the world understand that success is a long-term commitment. They know it's not about a single burst of effort, but about sustained action over years. They don't get distracted by quick wins. They don't chase shortcuts. They stay locked in day after day, regardless of how they feel. That's the difference. That's why they're on top. Most people have a long list of excuses for why they're not where they want to be. They blame their past, they blame their circumstances, they blame their lack of resources. But the truth is, none of that is what's holding them back. The real problem is them. The real problem is that they're looking for reasons why they can't instead of finding ways that they can. They've trained their minds to focus on limitations instead of possibilities. And as long as they keep thinking like that, they will never break through. The richest people in the USA don't think like that. They don't waste time making excuses. They don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They don't let obstacles become reasons to stop. They look at problems, and instead of complaining, They figure out how to solve them. Most people don't realize how much time they waste complaining. They think venting about their struggles is harmless, but every second spent whining is a second that could have been spent working toward a solution. The rich understand this. They don't have time for excuses. They don't have time for self-pity. They don't have time for distractions. While most people are busy talking about why life isn't fair, the wealthy are too busy taking action. That's the difference. That's why one group stays stuck and the other group keeps winning. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to blame the economy. It's easy to blame your upbringing. It's easy to say I wasn't given the same opportunities. But none of that changes anything. None of that puts money in your bank account. None of that helps you get ahead. The rich know that the only thing that matters is what they can control. They focus on solutions. They focus on what they can do right now. They take responsibility for their outcomes. And because of that, they make progress while everyone else stays trapped in the same cycle. Most people don't take responsibility for their lives. They think they do, but they don't. They talk about their goals, they talk about their dreams, but when it comes time to execute, they start listing all the reasons why it's hard, why it's unfair, why it's not possible for them. That's why they lose. The wealthy refuse to think that way. They refuse to entertain any thought that makes them weak. They refuse to allow themselves to make excuses. When they hit a roadblock, they don't sit down and cry about it. They figure out how to go around it, over it, or through it. Most people avoid challenges. They want everything to be smooth. They want success without struggle. They expect obstacles. They prepare for setbacks. They know that problems are part of the process. Instead of being surprised when things get hard, they're ready for it. Instead of backing down when things don't go their way, they adapt, they shift, they adjust, they do whatever it takes to keep moving forward. That's the mindset that separates the elite from the average. People don't realize how much their excuses are costing them. Every time they say, I don't have enough time, they're reinforcing a belief that keeps them from taking action. Every time they say, I'm not lucky like them, they're giving themselves permission to stay stuck. Every excuse they make becomes another brick in the wall between them and success. The rich know this, which is why they don't allow themselves to think that way. They don't make room for limiting beliefs. They don't entertain weak thoughts. They keep their minds focused on execution, on results, on getting things done. Most people wait for things to be perfect before they start. They say they'll take action when they have more money, when they have more time, when they have the right connections. That's why they never move. That's why they stay broke. The wealthy, they start with what they have. They don't wait for perfect conditions because they know perfect conditions don't exist. They take action now, they figure things out along the way, and they keep adjusting until they get the results they want. Success doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care about your story. It doesn't care about your past. It only cares about what you're willing to do. That's what the rich understand that most people don't. They know that every second spent complaining is a second wasted. They know that every excuse made is a step backward. They know that life will never hand them the perfect circumstances, so they take control and make it happen for themselves. That's why they win. That's why they dominate. That's why they keep rising while everyone else stays exactly where they are. Most people have convinced themselves that their problems are unique. They think they're struggling in ways that others aren't. But the truth is, everyone has challenges. Everyone has obstacles. Everyone has things working against them. The difference is the rich don't see their struggles as reasons to stop. They don't sit around feeling like victims. They don't dwell on what's unfair. They use every setback as fuel. They use every challenge as an opportunity to grow stronger, to get smarter, to become better. There are two types of people in this world. Those who focus on why they can't, and those who focus on how they can. The first group stay stuck. They let their excuses control them. They let fear hold them back. The second group, they find a way. No matter how hard it is, no matter how unfair it seems, they figure it out. That's why they succeed. That's why they create wealth. That's why they reach levels most people only dream about. Most people want life to be easy. They want things to just work out. The rich don't think that way. They don't expect handouts. They don't wait for luck. They create their own opportunities. They put themselves in positions to win. They do the hard work that most people avoid. That's why they separate themselves from the pack. That's why they rise while others fall. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you start moving forward. The moment you take full responsibility for your success is the moment everything changes. Most people never reach that point. They stay trapped in their own stories, in their own justifications, in their own limitations. The wealthy don't live that way. They refuse to be victims. They refuse to be weak. They refuse to accept anything less than success. It's easy to sit back and wish things were different. It's easy to talk about what you would do if circumstances were better. But that's not how success works. Success belongs to those who act. It belongs to those who take control. It belongs to those who refuse to be held back by anything, especially their own excuses. Most people will never reach their full potential because they never learn how to silence the voice in their head that tells them why they can't. The rich, they've mastered that skill. They don't listen to doubt. They don't listen to fear. They don't listen to weakness. They focus on execution, on discipline, on results. That's why they win. Most people walk around saying they don't have enough time, but the truth is they have the same 24 hours as the richest people in the world. The difference isn't in how much time they have, it's in how they use it. The wealthy don't waste their days. They don't spend hours scrolling through social media, binge watching TV, or procrastinating on things that don't matter. Every second counts. Every moment is an opportunity to get ahead. They treat time like the most valuable resource they have because it is. Most people say they're too busy, but if you look at their daily schedule, it's filled with wasted hours. They wake up late, they move slowly, they take unnecessary breaks, they let distractions control them, they go through life reacting instead of planning. The wealthy operate differently. They wake up with purpose. They have a plan before the day even starts. They don't waste time on things that don't push them forward. They don't spend hours in meaningless conversations. They don't let notifications pull them away from their goals. Their time is locked in, focused, optimized. It's not that they have more time. It's that they protect it. They cut out the nonsense. They say no to anything that doesn't serve their mission. They guard their schedule like their life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Every hour they spend wisely compounds over time. Every small productive moment builds into something massive. While most people are wasting days, weeks, even years, the rich are making strategic moves that set them up for the future. Most people don't respect time. They treat it like it's unlimited. They say they'll start tomorrow. They think they have all the time in the world to figure things out. But time doesn't wait for anyone. Every second that passes is a second you never get back. The richest people understand this better than anyone. They don't procrastinate. They don't push things off. If something needs to be done, they handle it now. They don't allow themselves to be lazy because they know laziness is the fastest way to a life of regret. People talk about work-life balance like success happens by accident. The rich don't buy into that mindset. They know balance is something you earn. They know that if you want to achieve greatness, you have to go all in. That means making sacrifices. That means cutting out distractions. That means dedicating more time to building than to entertainment. The reason most people never get ahead is because they spend more time consuming than creating. They scroll through other people's lives instead of improving their own. They waste hours watching people who are winning instead of putting in the effort to win themselves. The wealthy don't make that mistake. They don't waste time being spectators. They are too busy playing the game. They are too focused on building their own success to care about what everyone else is doing. They don't spend hours debating, discussing, or thinking about what they might do. They execute, they move, they adjust as they go. They use time as a weapon while most people treat it like a toy. Most people underestimate how much time they waste in a day. They think a few minutes here and there doesn't matter, but those minutes add up. 10 minutes wasted 5 times a day is almost an hour gone. An hour wasted every day is 365 hours lost in a year. That's over 2 full weeks of time just thrown away. The rich don't let that happen. They track their time. They measure their productivity. They make sure that every hour they put in is moving them forward. Most people don't realize that time is either working for them or against them. The wealthy make sure time is their ally, not their enemy. They make every minute count. They don't let days slip by without progress. They move with urgency. They treat every day like an opportunity to get better, to get smarter, to get richer. They know that the way they use their time today will determine where they are in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. People who complain about not having time are the same people who waste it the most. They say they're too busy, but they spend hours on things that don't matter. They claim they don't have enough time to start a business, but they have enough time to watch movies, scroll endlessly, and engage in meaningless conversations. The wealthy don't tolerate that kind of thinking. They know that time is the one thing they can never get back, so they refuse to waste it on anything that doesn't bring value. Most people think they need to work harder, but what they really need is to work smarter. The rich don't just grind for the sake of grinding. They are intentional. They focus on the highest value tasks. They delegate what isn't worth their time. They automate what they can. They don't waste energy on things that don't move the needle. That's why they get so much more done in the same amount of time as everyone else. People don't realize that success isn't about how much time you have, it's about how well you use it. Some people work 16-hour days and accomplish nothing. Others work 6 hours with laser focus and make massive progress. The rich are obsessed with efficiency. They optimize their schedules. They structure their days for maximum output. They don't just work for the sake of working. They make sure every hour is productive. Most people operate with a tomorrow mindset. They say they'll start later. They say they'll do it when they have more time. The rich don't think like that. They know that tomorrow is never guaranteed. They act now. They take opportunities when they appear. They don't wait for perfect conditions because they know perfect conditions don't exist. Most people look at their time and see limitations. The wealthy look at the same time and see opportunities. They know that an hour spent learning, building, or investing in themselves is worth far more than an hour spent on mindless entertainment. They are constantly looking for ways to maximize their time, to increase their output, to get more done in less time. Time is the ultimate separator between success and failure. The richest people in the world know that it's not just about working hard, it's about making every moment count. They don't tolerate wasted time. They don't allow themselves to get caught up in meaningless activities. They move with intention, with purpose, with strategy. They understand that every second they waste is a second they could have been building their empire. Most people will never understand how much time they throw away until it's too late. They will look back and realize they spent years doing nothing meaningful, nothing impactful, nothing that pushed them forward. The wealthy don't live with that regret. They make sure that every single day is another step closer to their goals. They don't let time slip through their fingers. They use it. They leverage it. They turn it into something valuable. That's the difference. Most people are controlled by their emotions. They wake up and let their feelings dictate how they move. If they don't feel motivated, they don't take action. If they're tired, they sleep in. If they're frustrated, they quit. That's why they never reach the next level. That's why they stay stuck in the same cycle year after year, never making real progress. The richest people in the world don't operate like that. They don't let their emotions make decisions for them. They move based on discipline, not feelings. They do what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. Most people wait until they feel good before they take action. They say they need motivation. They say they need inspiration, but that's a losing mindset. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. The people who rely on motivation will always struggle because there will be days when they don't feel like showing up. And on those days, they will stop. The wealthy understand that success isn't about feelings. It's about execution. It's about consistency. It's about doing the work even when they don't want to, especially when they don't want to. Most people let temporary discomfort stop them from making permanent progress. They get tired, so they rest instead of pushing through. They get frustrated, so they walk away instead of figuring it out. They get bored, so they quit and start something new instead of mastering what they already started. That's why they stay average. That's why they never achieve anything significant. The rich are different. They push through fatigue. They work through frustration. They keep going even when it's boring because they know success comes from repetition, from mastery, from showing up every single day. Most people think success is about working when they feel good. The rich know success is about working regardless. They don't let their emotions decide their level of effort. They don't let their moods determine their discipline. They move forward whether they're excited or exhausted, whether they feel like it or not. That's the difference. That's why they win while everyone else makes excuses. Most people break when things get uncomfortable. They hit resistance, and instead of pushing forward, they look for an escape. They justify quitting by saying, maybe this isn't for me. They convince themselves that stopping is the right decision. But that's just weakness talking. That's just their emotions looking for a way out. The richest people in the world don't entertain that mindset. They know that every time they push through discomfort, they grow. Every time they keep going when others quit, they separate themselves from the pack. Most people don't have control over their own minds. They let their fears, doubts, and insecurities run their lives. They let negative thoughts stop them from even trying. The wealthy have trained themselves to think differently. They don't let fear dictate their choices. They don't let doubt paralyze them. They don't let insecurities hold them back. They recognize those thoughts for what they are: lies, excuses, weakness trying to keep them small, and they refuse to let weakness win. Most people quit right before they break through. They work for a little while, but the second it gets hard, they stop. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. They look for something easier. They don't understand that the hardest moments come right before the biggest breakthroughs. The richest people in the world know this. They expect things to get harder. They know that discomfort is a sign that growth is happening. They don't stop when it gets tough. They lean in. They embrace the struggle because they know it's shaping them into something stronger. Most people let their emotions control their money, and that's why they stay broke. They spend when they feel like it. They save when they feel guilty. They invest when they're excited, and they panic sell when they're scared. That's why they never build wealth. The rich don't play that game. They remove emotions from financial decisions. They operate based on logic, based on strategy, based on what actually works. That's why they multiply their money while everyone else struggles just to keep what they have. Most people chase quick wins because they want instant gratification. They want results now. They want success today. And when they don't get it immediately, they give up. They never stick with anything long enough to see real success. The rich don't fall into that trap. They play the long game. They make moves today that will pay off years from now. They don't care about instant results. They care about building something that lasts. Most people can't handle delayed gratification. They want comfort now, even if it costs them later. They'd rather have a few extra hours of sleep than get up and put in the work. They'd rather spend money on things they don't need instead of investing it for the future. They'd rather avoid hard conversations instead of facing reality. The rich operate differently. They sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. They're willing to endure pain now so they can enjoy freedom later. That's why they get ahead while everyone else falls behind. Most people complain about problems, but they don't actually want to solve them. They would rather feel bad for themselves than do the hard work of changing their situation. They want sympathy, not solutions. The wealthy don't have time for that. They don't waste energy complaining. They put all their energy into fixing the problem. That's why they move forward while others stay stuck. Most people let their emotions get in the way of their relationships. They take things personally. They react without thinking. They let their ego control them. That's why they burn bridges. That's why they struggle to work with others. That's why they can't build strong networks. The richest people in the world don't operate like that. They don't let emotions get in the way of business. They think long term. They control their reactions. They don't make emotional decisions that cost them money, relationships, or opportunities. Most people are slaves to their moods. If they feel tired, they don't push. If they feel unmotivated, they don't work. If they feel insecure, they don't take risks. That's why they never achieve anything significant. The wealthy refuse to live that way. They train themselves to act regardless of their emotions. They push even when they don't feel like it. They execute even when their mind tells them to stop. They override the part of themselves that wants to quit and force themselves to keep moving. Most people aren't willing to do what it takes. They want success, but they don't want discomfort. They want money, but they don't want sacrifice. They want results, but they don't want to put in the work when it's inconvenient. That's why they stay broke, stuck, and struggling. The rich have accepted that success is uncomfortable. They don't expect it to be easy. They don't wait until they feel ready. They act, they adjust, they adapt. Most people make emotional decisions, and that's why they make bad decisions. They choose what feels good instead of what's right. They pick what's easy instead of what's necessary. They let temporary emotions create permanent consequences. The wealthy don't fall into that trap. They recognize when emotions are clouding their judgment and they step back. They think logically. They analyze. They make choices based on facts, not feelings. Most people will never get to the next level because they don't know how to control themselves. They don't know how to manage their emotions, their thoughts, their impulses. They let their feelings drive their decisions, and that's why they fail. The richest people in the world have mastered self-discipline. They have trained themselves to do what needs to be done no matter how they feel. They have built the ability to push through discomfort, to ignore distractions, to silence the part of their brain that wants to take the easy way out. Most people will never reach their full potential because they are controlled by their emotions instead of controlling them. They make weak decisions because they let temporary feelings dictate their actions. The richest people in the world don't live like that. They have learned to separate emotions from execution. They don't let their moods determine their discipline. They do the work whether they feel like it or not. That's why they win. Most people think the game is fair. They believe that if they work hard, follow the rules, and do what they're supposed to do, they'll eventually succeed. But the richest people in the world know that's not how the real game works. The game is rigged. And they don't waste time complaining about it. They figure out how to play it better. They understand the system, and instead of fighting it, they use it to their advantage. Most people follow the traditional path because they believe that's the only way. Go to school, get a degree, find a job, work hard, and hope for the best. But the wealthy don't think that way. They know that path is designed to keep people trapped in the system, working for someone else, making just enough to survive, but never enough to be free. The rich don't play by those rules. They create their own. They know that success isn't about following the crowd. It's about understanding the system well enough to outmaneuver it. Most people are taught to trade time for money. They work an hourly job or a salary position, thinking that if they put in more hours, they'll get ahead. But the richest people in the world don't trade time for money. They trade value. They create businesses. They build systems. They invest in assets that make money for them even when they're sleeping. They don't work for money. They make money work for them. Most people think wealth is about having a high salary. They believe that if they get a good paying job, they'll be set for life. But the rich know that a high salary means nothing if you don't know how to use it. They understand that true wealth comes from ownership, owning businesses, real estate, stocks, and intellectual property. They know that it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, invest, and grow. Most people are stuck in the cycle of earning and spending. They make money, they spend it on things that don't generate more income, and then they have to start all over again. The rich break that cycle. They reinvest their earnings into things that produce more money. They use their income to buy assets that generate passive income. While most people spend their paychecks on liabilities that drain their bank accounts, the rich focus on multiplying their money. Most people fear debt. They see it as something dangerous, something to be avoided at all costs. But the rich understand the difference between bad debt and good debt. They know that debt, when used correctly, is a tool for leverage. They use it to buy real estate, start businesses, and invest in opportunities that generate more income. While most people are drowning in credit card debt and car loans, the wealthy are using debt to build fortunes. Most people think that working harder is the answer. They believe that if they just put in more hours, sacrifice more time, and grind endlessly, they'll eventually reach success. But the richest people in the world don't just work hard, they work smart. They focus on high leverage activities, on things that bring the biggest returns. They don't waste time on tasks that don't move them forward. They outsource, delegate, and automate. They understand that time is their most valuable asset, and they refuse to waste it on things that don't produce results. Most people wait for opportunities to come to them. They sit back hoping for the right moment, the right conditions, the right circumstances. The rich don't wait. They create opportunities. They go out and find ways to make things happen. They take calculated risks. They know that if they wait for the perfect time, they'll be waiting forever. Most people are afraid of failure. They see it as something to avoid at all costs. They let the fear of making mistakes stop them from even trying. But the wealthy don't fear failure. They embrace it. They understand that failure is part of the process, that every mistake is a lesson, that every setback is a stepping stone to success. While most people quit after a few failures, the rich use them as fuel to push even harder. Most people are surrounded by the wrong people. They listen to advice from people who have never achieved anything significant. They take financial guidance from people who are broke. They let the opinions of their friends and family dictate their decisions, even if those people have no idea what they're talking about. The wealthy are intentional about who they surround themselves with. They seek out mentors. They build relationships with successful people. They learn from those who have already achieved what they're after. They know that the people around them will either lift them up or pull them down, and they choose wisely. Most people think short term. They focus on the next paycheck, the next vacation, the next weekend. They make decisions based on immediate gratification. But the rich think long. They make moves today that will pay off years from now. They invest in their future. They delay gratification. They are willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. Most people don't educate themselves financially. They rely on the school system to teach them about money. But the truth is, the system isn't designed to create wealth. It's designed to create workers. The rich take responsibility for their own financial education. They read books. They study investments. They learn about business, taxes, and economics. They don't just work for money. They learn how to make money work for them. Most people are afraid to stand out. They want to fit in, to be liked, to follow the crowd. But the richest people in the world don't care about fitting in. They think differently. They act differently. They take risks that others are too scared to take. They are willing to be different, to go against the grain, to do what others won't. That's why they succeed while everyone else stays stuck. Most people settle. They accept average. They convince themselves that a mediocre life is good enough. They stop pushing, stop growing, stop striving for more. But the wealthy never settle. They are always looking for the next opportunity, the next challenge, the next level. They refuse to get comfortable. They know that the moment they stop growing is the moment they start declining. Most people make emotional decisions when it comes to money. They panic when the market crashes. They get greedy when things are booming. They let fear and excitement drive their financial choices. But the rich remove emotion from the equation. They make decisions based on logic, strategy, and long-term thinking. They don't react, they anticipate. That's why they stay ahead while everyone else gets caught off guard. Most people focus on saving money. They think the key to wealth is cutting expenses, budgeting, and living frugally. But the rich focus on making money. They understand that you can only save so much, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. They don't just cut back. They find ways to increase their income. They focus on expansion, not restriction. Most people get comfortable too easily. They find a decent job, make a decent income, and they stop pushing. They sell into a routine. They stop taking risks. They stop growing. But the richest people in the world never stop pushing. They never stop learning. They never stop improving. They know that the moment they get comfortable is the moment they start losing. Most people are too afraid to invest in themselves. They hesitate to spend money on courses, mentors, or personal development. They see it as an expense instead of an investment. But the wealthy know that the best investment they can ever make is in themselves. They spend money on knowledge, on skills, on experiences that will make them better, smarter, and more valuable. Most people let the system control them. They follow the rules blindly. They accept what they're told without questioning it. But the rich question everything. They look for loopholes. They find advantages. They figure out how to use the system to their benefit. They don't just play the game. They change the game. That's why they win.